Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control.
Another wonderful time to talk sport right here on Dominion Sport, Dominion Television, your channel of choice. I am Paul Abe Toluwanimi, and this wonderful morning we'll be looking at the Super Eagles, where it looks like a blink of qualification for next year's World Cup. I have Samson Balogun here in the studio to talk sports with me, the man with unbiased analysis and undiluted report. You know how we did on the show. We break down analysis for you top notch just to give you that info. Samson, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning to you, Tolu. It's really nice to be here again to talk sports. As we always say, this is where we bring you unbiased analysis and, of course, undiluted report. So thank you for joining us on this show, this wonderful morning. A lot to unpack, and most definitely the Super Eagles is one of the things we'll be discussing on this show. Yeah. Yes, I predicted yesterday that the Super Eagles was going to lose by 2 goals to 1.
Yeah, you said
they were able to get a goal. South Africa too also got a goal. But then South Africa could not get the other goal, which, you know, for me, I think I'm happy that we did not lose. We played for pride, if at least we did not qualify for the next phase. But in all honesty, I never saw the Super Eagles getting the points away at South Africa. The first leg ended 1-0 in Nigeria. And then going down to South Africa, with the way they played at home against Rwanda, I never saw them at least getting a point. In fact, that goal I gave them, I just gave them that goal because I felt, oh, this is Nigeria. This, as my token of support.
It's support to say,
as a token to support the team. But in the real sense of it, when you look at how the coach actually set out that team, I knew for a fact that since he came on board as a coach, there's never been a time Eric Shells actually, had a starting 11 and repeated the same starting 11 in the next game. And then if you are a coach and you don't have a starting 11, you have a problem. And we expected Tolu. See what Tolu Arokodare did when he came on board. Now, you would expect the coach to start Tolu in that game and then, give the Super Eagles a breathing space in midfield. See, the South Africans actually operate in midfield. And if you give them that room to do it, I don't see the Nigerian midfield as a place where the ball can actually stay for 5-10 seconds without the South Africans, interfering with play. But there was a challenge. We could not solve it because there was no extra man in midfield, and that gave the team a problem. But all in all, they were able to get a draw. I think that is really massive. If South Africans failed to be consistent going on in the competition, maybe, just maybe, we might qualify. But I don't see that happening. There's about 5% chance of the Super Eagles qualifying.
I don't know. For me, I don't know why we are giving the 5% chance because we're going to look at the table. We're going to break it down for the sporting family to enjoy this wonderful morning. A quick one. The result ended 1-1 between South Africa and Nigeria. Yesterday you have it on the screen. Yes, an own goal by William Troost Ekong and also Calvin Bassey. You might want to call it the hand of God because if you had the VAR in action in that game, I'm sure that goal would have been disqualified. From that game, but it ended 1-1. And if we can have that other image being displayed, that looking at the table at this point in time, it's not looking too good for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. There you have it. We have South Africa on 17 points. We have Benin Republic, who trashed Lesotho 4-0. We have Nigeria on 11 points. We have Rwanda. We have Lesotho with 5th on the table, and also we have Zimbabwe 6th on the log table right here with 4 points. Something for you, and let's start from that game yesterday. And also, before we continue the analysis on that game yesterday, the media of the NFF came out to say something to me very disgusting, because if you're a media personnel, you don't come out to single-handedly trash one player off the radar. We can understand that whatever Sirius Dessert did yesterday was not enough to have the opportunity to start that game. But come on, you as a media personnel off the NFF should not be doing that, yesterday. But we're going to get to that. But let's analyze the game yesterday. For you said, you would have preferred, Benjamin Frederick to still start the game, we saw Calvin Bassey, on the other flank of the left flank of the game. We saw William Trostekong and also Olaino, which was also subbed up. For you, that did not go well for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Series Desas was not what you wanted, to happen. Ademola Lookman played the 10 role. Fisayo Dede, but do you think, the formation affected the game of the Super Eagles in the first half?
Well, I want to quickly say this. Some people will question the fact that a coach most times might not have the capacity to repeat the same starting level, which is understandable depending on the game plan of your opponent and the kind of team you are playing. Most teams do not play the same way and they don't have the same players. So you look at the team you are playing and then set out to play just to counter what you're bringing. Now, that is understandable. But if you look at the South Africans, majority of the Nigerian players that didn't make the starting 11, some of them, you would have expected that if they were on the field, they would have made a difference. Yes, we mentioned Fisayo Dele Bashiru yesterday that, if he got the chance to play in that team, probably there will be a level of creativity. And then he's also a goal scorer himself. Maybe out of the blue, he might just get a shot away and then, be able to convert some chances. But that did not work out because the coach had a different plan. And the plan, for me, I think, yes, he meant well with the plan. Contain the Bafana a little bit, see how they want to play, and then when that happens, and you have studied how they want to play, then you implement your own game plan. Yeah. Unfortunately, they saw how the Bafana wanted to play. Yeah. But unfortunately, they did not have the materials on the field of play to do exactly what they would have loved to do. The South African team wanted to play Nigerians outfield. They wanted to pressure them, press high, and then get the goal. They did that. They got the first goal. And then when that happened, you realize that was what they wanted to play. Why not put Tolu Arokodare right there to make sure that at least nullify 2 defenders? And when that is done, they know that they have a problem. And then they are going to solve their own problem before they come for you. But we did not have that. So yes, he's a fantastic player. But in that situation when Nigeria needs the goals, when Nigeria needs to bully the opposition defenders to get what they wanted, in that kind of situation, you don't play fine, right? You play well.
You play well.
These are 2 different things. It's not about the kind of fancy football you want to play. You have to play rough to get a point because this is not that was not the time to entertain the fans.
So do you think most of these players did not play exactly what you're saying now? Because if you look at
some people might want to blame the tough. It wasn't good.
The tough was honestly speaking.
But if the tough was that bad, the South Africans also played on that tough. So that's not an excuse.
But come on,
yes, it is wrong to put them on that field. But that's not an excuse for for me as an analyst. If I watch or listen to other shows, and I see that an analyst is actually condemning a pitch as a reason why a team did not play well. Yeah, I think it's just I
can understand that we should not do that.
That's not an excuse. Yeah. As long as you can kick the ball from point A to point B, as long as that pitch does not stop your ball midway from getting to the goal, I mean that's not an excuse. You can actually make things happen there. Yes, you want to say, Nigerian players, most of them play abroad. In fact, majority of them play abroad.
All of them play abroad.
And the South African players, majority of them play at home. Right there in South Africa. Yes, it's fine. But what is the essence of having big players, quality players in your team when they cannot showcase their superiority over the opponent? And that is why I'm always sad when you bring Nigerian players home and then they play like they are doing the national team a favor. I mean, you have been given an opportunity to showcase yourself. Benjamin Fredericks, for example, was given a chance. He made sure that he was able to showcase what he had in stock, and the coach could not even put him on the bench against the South African team. Meaning that what he did against Rwanda was no fluke, and the coach realized this guy, wants to play. He knows what it means to play for the Super Eagles, and he against all odds, put him in that team ahead of William Trostekong, who was even the captain on the team. Yeah. So this is a challenge, which we have noticed. Most Nigerian players do not give their all when they come. And also, we have forgotten the fact that football has evolved to an extent where there's no small team anymore. You can't just walk into the pitch and, assume you have all 3 points in the bag when you have not even done the playing on the field of play. So it has gone beyond what we see on paper. It has gone beyond the value of each player on the field of play and say, oh, Nigerian team cost about $2.6 billion US. No. It's about how many points can you take away
get away from that game.
And obviously, the Nigerian team is weak now. Honestly. And I just hope they can give Eric Shells the chance to rebuild that team, bring in players, regardless of where they play, who can actually represent the country well.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to ask you something. It looks like you're going with Eric Shells to continue with the Super Eagles job because we know what the NFF,
it's about consistency.
You know how the NFF operates. Now, a quick one, the image being displayed on the screen now is going to be Ose Peseiro and Coach Finidi George. And my question is, first we started the series with Ose Peseiro, overseeing the first 2 games. We drew both. And Peseiro left some month later. Entered Finidi George. He was the coach in the series for 2 games, lost 1 and drew 1. Eguavon also, took over, came through with 1 win and 1 draw. And I want to ask you, to be very honest, something. Who is to blame? Should we blame the NFF or should we blame these coaches I just mentioned? Ose Peseiro, Coach Finidi George. You look at Finidi George's statement. There was a time he was making some bold statement about the quality of the team, the coach coming in. That also being displayed on the screen. You look at it and you wonder. You had the opportunity also to make amends, just like you said. And you look at the quality of these coaches that the NFF brought into the system. You look at the career mode. They have not done anything worthy to coach a team like the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I think the NFF does not understand, how big the Super Eagles of Nigeria is, because if they do, you should be going for quality coaches, not taking anything away from these coaches, but something, you look at their track record, you look at what they've been able to achieve, and you look at where they are with the Super Eagles of Nigeria right now, and where the Super Eagles of Nigeria is at this point in time, it becomes a problem. There you have Coach Ose Peseiro, there you have Coach Finidi George, you look at Austin Eguavon, then you go back and forth and you wonder, why can't we get a quality coach that can run the span of 4 or 5 years with the Super Eagles of Nigeria and achieve something for us? But there you have it, something. For you, are you going to blame the NFF or are you going to blame these coaches I just mentioned, to where the Nigeria situation is now?
I think it's a blame that should be shared squarely.
Everybody
has.
Or both the players.
Everyone has a role to play in the failure of the team as we speak. You see, I'm going to use an analogy, and I do hope that people will understand this. When someone sends you to buy an egg, you have been sent to buy an egg, and for the fact that you know that if you pick out of that, if you hit part of that egg, it will be obvious that you have actually taken part of it. So instead of not taking anything, you decide to just lick and then take the egg to whoever. At least you have a taste. You understand. So the Yorubas will say, you understand. So what I'm trying to say is, if you monetize everything, if you want to make money off everything, then there's going to be a challenge. There'll be a problem. You see, when the Super Eagles wants to recruit a coach, you will see a lot of CVs and you will see quality coaches who are interested. And then someone somewhere will say, the wage bill is too much, or whatever it is they want to take is too much, so the NFF cannot actually pay such an amount of money. So definitely, we are not taking Coach A, Coach B, Coach C because of how much they want to take. Now, they will now resort to taking the B list or the C list of the coaches because they will be graded into categories. Now, the B list and the C list, you want to take a coach from that category, and then after taking that coach, you will check their CV, you realize, what has this person... So for example, Lars Lagerbach was a coach with one US high school team, and then got the job as a Super Eagles coach. Ose Peseiro failed as a coach in Egypt.
I think the reason why Ose Peseiro's job had to come in was because, we got the report that he was an assistant to, Ose Mourinho. And so what does that qualify him to be a coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria? Come on.
Now, so when you now bring such coach, from the B list or the C list, and then to be the coach of the Super Eagles, you now realize the fact that what they said, they cannot pay to the coach who's on the A list, who will eventually be paid to the coach on the C list. So who takes the extra?
Not even the B list.
Not on the B list. So who takes the extra on that money? It has been monetized. Someone somewhere says, I'm bringing you a job.
Okay.
Instead of taking $10,000 home on a monthly basis, which is on your letter, me, I will take $5,000
So right now, something we're doing a middleman job at this point.
That's the narrative. So someone somewhere says, oh, I am your agent, I'm getting you. But rest assured you are going to get this job. So instead of $10,000 US, which will be on your wage bill, the actual 5,000 you want to take will be yours. But the remaining 5,000 goes to a certain pocket. And then the coach that needs the job and sees that even that $5,000 is a lot of money, takes the job and then messes the team up and leaves after 8-9 months, and then another coach comes on board. The same cycle will be repeated. It will be repeated. And that has been done. In the last 5 years, you see how many coaches the Super Eagles has actually used.
Come on, we can count.
Now, Genoro also was booted out. Genoro, for me, wasn't a failure as a coach of the Super Eagles.
I agree.
No matter how dusty you can say his CV was when he came on board, but at least was able to give us some results. Why not trust a coach and give them a long-term project? Yes, we have not qualified for the World Cup for so number of years. We want you to qualify for us for the World Cup. Give that coach a job from the beginning. Then he sees the team through. But the Super Eagles, after few bad results, the coach is kicked out, another coach is brought on board. While still trying to find his feet as a coach, you have already given him a job to qualify the team for the next phase of the tournament. A tournament which was already being played, and someone has already lost or maybe drawn two games, then given to another coach who is going to
pick up again to try and see if you can.
Another coach will now do trial.
Yeah.
Starts trying out with the team, and then after some trial, after 2-3 games, you have told that person to leave. And then another coach comes aboard, does the test run of the team, and then is to be booted out again. For what reason exactly? You realize for just a qualifier, which is the World Cup qualifier, we have three coaches already. In fact, if you count, I think Jose Pacero started this.
Yes,
George Eguavon, Austin Eguavon, and now for a qualifying series, you have had 4 or 5 coaches.
And not one of them could make to make a ticket for the Super Eagles.
So if you are left Jose Pacero and giving him maybe a little bit more of moral support, or maybe I've left if you need the judge to do the job, or let the technical advisor Austin Eguavon continue from what. Austin Eguavon is not a failure as a Super Eagles coach. You have given him a job to get you 6 points and he got you 4. That's not failure. But someone believes that let's just bring
somebody that is maybe American or maybe
now if you are going to bring a coach from outside, I am expecting you to bring a coach with a track record of qualification for the World Cup or maybe for the AFCON who has done it before. But you are bringing a coach from Mali, Eric Shells. Yes, he's a very good coach.
Yeah,
took Mali to Mali against all odds to that position, at the AFCON. But is that enough? Is that enough to give him the job as the Super Eagles coach? For me personally, I would say no, because that is not even enough to be the yardstick to get a job of the Super Eagles. But as it stands, the deed is done. A new coach is on board, which is Eric Shells. Yeah. He has not been too convincing as a coach. In fact, when you look at the Super Eagles team and when they play, you see that there hasn't been too many inputs of a coach in that team. I mean, when you see a coach, look at the Rwandan team. See how they played on the Nigerian turf.
Honestly, man.
And the Super Eagles could not replicate what the Rwandans were doing on their own pitch. So that's where you see that. Do we really have an input of a coach in that team? Yeah. For me, I would say to an extent, no. But can we actually adjust things and make it better going forward? I think yes.
Right.
Give Eric Shells what he needs. Moral support, financial support, anything he wants. And then let's see where this leads. So if Nigeria does not qualify for this World Cup, I can be rest assured that Eric Shells will be booted out.
Honestly, no.
Another coach will come on board.
So Samson, I'm sure it's looming already. The middleman is already in the mix of the board meeting and saying, "Come, I think I have a new man on board that we can work with." So let me see if I can take.
So what makes Eric Shells better than Finidi George as we speak?
So
I would say nothing. Look at Rivers United so far this season. They have been, guns blazing. They drew the defending champions in the first game, won a few other games, and that tells you that this man has a lot to offer the Super Eagles. So forget what issue he had with Victor Osimhen.
So something you're saying, you rather give this coaches
I would have left Finidi George to do the job, because see
with the job.
What's the fire brigade approach we adopt in Nigeria? I mean, we most times rush to do things. We take decisions and eventually regret taking those decisions. But
Samson, come on. You look at the quality of players in the Super Eagles squad, and you're wondering why can't a coach get the? I can understand that sometimes we can also also blame the players. But come on, you look at, there's no time on, on the side of any of the coaches coming to coach the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
No.
Because when you look at the quality of the players, you're wondering, why can't we get the result done?
Now,
honestly speaking, it's not for me personally. It's not about the time, or we can. It's not. We're not playing a full season. It's not 38 matches run we're talking qualifiers, and you have the best quality of players in the world. Honestly speaking, I was watching a video, this morning, Samson, and the person was talking about the quality of the Super Eagles squad, and I saw a comment on somebody saying this is Africa's England team, for Christ's sake. And so you say that there's something, and you say, give them time, give them, 5, 6, 7 matches, and at the end of the day, getting the result, the quality of players.
Now, let me chip this in very quickly. You see, there's a challenge with the selection process when it comes to players. I'm not talking about, some people in some corners, forcing some players in the team. That's not what I'm even talking about now, because it happens a lot. A player is brought on board. Benjamin Fredericks proved himself.
Yeah, he did
but
that.
do you know that he belongs to the Academy of
Moses Simon?
Moses Simon.
Yeah.
And then it was Moses Simon that took him to Europe, and eventually, even before he was invited into the Super Eagles, he was already coming to camp to meet some of these players. So he was already friends with some of them. Yeah. So that aside, I'm not even talking about that one. He proved himself. Yeah, so that is not an issue. But there are some other players too that are only in that team. For them to get at least a number of invites into the Super Eagles
or caps
in the team, so they can get a move abroad. So that's the goal. I would say for example, Amos Obasoji is one of them. So away from there, because why will Amos Obasoji make the team at the time when Kayode Bankole was the best goalkeeper in the MPFL and he did not make the team? So that is another issue entirely. Okay. Now let's talk about how players are invited into the team. You see, every team that invites players based on the name that you made, right? The name you made some times ago, and then you are invited based on that. And you are not being assessed on what you can offer the team as we speak right now. There were times when Ahmed Musa, even when he was not playing for his team,
he was always in that team.
So these are the challenges the team will always face. You are seeing them because you are seeing, oh, this is Wilfred Ndidi, oh, this is William Troost-Ekong. But when you check them out in their teams, what exactly are they doing? So will they be able to give you anything extra?
Yeah.
When they come to play for the Super Eagles, I will say no. So why bring him into the team? William Troost-Ekong, for example, I for one will not bring him back into that team. Yes, he's rock solid. He's one of the best defenders you have, and then moments of individual brilliance for him can actually get you results in some games. But for me, I think it is time to make a change. There are some players. In fact, I would retire Wilfred Ndidi and play Frank Oyeka.
I agree.
Right?
Because I saw.
But then Wilfred Ndidi is still in that team because the name is Wilfred Ndidi.
Yeah, I agree.
And there are also other players too like that. So it's not about the name you made sometimes ago. Yeah. Are you still living up to expectation? Can you discharge your duties as expected when given the chance to play for the Super Eagles? Yeah. For some of them, I will say no. So if I'm to clean that team as we speak, about 7 or 8 of them will not make the team. So why not go to other leagues and see quality players who are doing fantastically well, playing week in, week out? Yeah. Do you know how long it took them to bring Tolu Arokodare to that team? True. It was until nobody could doubt his performance. So if you now have a Tolu Arokodare who was the top scorer in the Belgian league last season, and then you put him on the bench just because you want to try something out with Cyril Desas, I think the coach does not know what he's doing. But if we can sort the issue of invitation, do not bring players on board because the name is so person. Oh, he has been around for a long time. He is a mainstay in the team. He has done well for the team in the past, so he has to be in the team. That's not the basis of inviting players. We have seen several situations where the Argentine national team would drop Javier Mascherano because, he's not in form. He just got back from injury. Let's just give him time to get back to full shape. There are times Lionel Messi himself will excuse himself from the team. I am not fit. Look at what happened a few days ago. He told them, the next game, I won't be a part of this team. And Masatono was made the number 10 in the team because he knows that he cannot discharge his duties as expected. So he doesn't want to do below par performance. So please bring someone else on board. As for me, I don't want to be a part of it because I know I'm not in full shape. And there are other countries too that when it comes to selection, they don't joke with this. Look at the Brazilian national team. Many times Rodrigo plays for Real Madrid, but they will drop him and play a player who plays in the Brazilian league.
True, I agree.
It's not about the name. It's about what you can bring as at that time.
I agree.
But for the Super Eagles, it's about
the name. Is about
who are the top players we have in Europe and the teams they play for. So if you play for a top team, automatically you walk into the list. If that can change, then the team will actually get better.
Then also another point, Samson, if we have other players also challenging for the spot of the Super Eagles, I think we need to give them the chance. If we have the players, we can go ahead to say, they are the big names, Alex Iwobi, Wilfred Ndidi, but do we have players that can challenge them off the spot is the question at this point in time. You can mention, let's not talk about the Frank Onyeka again, let's remove the Rafael Onyedika from the team. Let's look at all the players that we have not mentioned in recent times, where can they challenge for the spot at this point in time? Because if you take out a Wilfred Ndidi, you take out a Frank Onyeka, you take out a Rafael Onyedika, who are you going to bring? Are you going to bring in a Jide from nowhere that you don't know, his playing career, you don't know what he has done over the past? So I think we need to look inward, with the Super Eagles of Nigeria and get it right moving forward. Because at this point in time, Samson, my question right now is, before we move into the next story, do we still have the chance to qualify for the next year's World Cup? And look at how it stands right here, in the qualification group. Do we have a chance, Samson?
Well, you are trying to put me on the spot.
No, I'm not, Samson.
I'll be as professional as possible. For me, yes. I want to be 100% clear that the Super Eagles of Nigeria are going nowhere.
So it's over.
It's totally over.
If you check,
so if you check, there's no mathematics you can do. I don't think South Africa will lose 2 games to Rwanda, Lesotho, or Zimbabwe. That's impossible. Yeah. I don't think Benin Republic will lose all the rest of their games, and then so you can, one of the best teams that will qualify for second position, and then you get a chance to play a playoff. I don't think so. So if you look at that team now, South Africa on 17 points, Benin Republic on 14 points, Nigeria on 11 points. So what that tells you is that Nigeria has a long way to go. 8 matches played already.
Yeah.
Can Nigeria win the remaining games 100%? I don't think so. With the way they currently play. Will Benin Republic lose 2-3 games going forward?
Will South
Africa lose 2 games so that Nigeria can catch up with them? I do not think so. So whatever mathematics that is mathing in anybody's head, just cancel it. It's never going to work. Now, with the current trend now, even if Nigeria qualify for second spot, if you check the list of teams,
the ranking of the second place teams,
second place teams as we speak, Nigeria is not even there.
So, honestly speaking,
Nigeria is not even there.
They're not there.
So what that tells you is that until Nigeria moves to second spot permanently, that's when they will be considered.
They will consider there.
And when they are considered too, you have to be in a respectable position on that log before you make the playoffs.
So quick one, Samson. We have Gabon on 19 points. We have Madagascar on 16 points. We have DR Congo on 16 points. We have Burkina Faso on 15 points. Now, there's a certain Cameroon that's not going to make, is likely not to make the World Cup spot. Also, looking at what Cape Verde you did to them, yesterday. We have Namibia, we have Uganda, we have Benin, and we have Tanzania. You look at all these teams and you wonder, these teams were not even in existence, when Nigeria was still trying to qualify for, 1996, games. You look at 2002, look at 2010, and you wonder, these teams were not even in existence, but there they are fighting for a spot, for the World Cup.
You see, the challenge is not limited to the players who are already abroad and are already doing their thing.
I think
it's a problem within Africa. We're just having a conversation, and one of the teams that we saw as a bright light, in the NLO that was meant to be in the NPFL was disbanded lately. We're having a conversation just before the show. Why would you disband a team where some stars are to be discovered? So it means that something is wrong with how we run our grassroots football. So how do you discover the next set of superstars when you do not run grassroots? So most of them are wasting away playing Sunday league sets. Most of them are wasting away.
After you play Sunday league sets.
Yeah. So most of them are also wasting away just doing what we'll say, pay as you play. That's what Yorubas call jeun jeun. So they just go, they get 3,000-5,000 for a football game and then they are gone.
Wow.
So that is what they currently do. So until we have a structure in place, like other countries around the world, where stars can be discovered. Do you know that in some countries, it is not just about what you have in Nigeria, where you have the MPFL, where you have the NNL, the NLO, and then you have the IFA League. In fact, within some communities, there are cups. Go on a Saturday, just go on your flash call and check German Bundesliga, check German football generally. You see, you have about 25 leagues.
Yeah, true, I agree.
And all of them are listed on flash call.
Yeah, true.
Why? It is because it has been developed to that level. So if we do not have grassroots support, aside leagues where players can move from conference to higher leagues where you can be discovered and look at the story of a player like Jamie Vardy, Mikel Antonio. Some of them were playing Sunday football until they were discovered by someone who said, "Oh, come and play for so team." Jermaine Defoe, for example. There are a lot of players like that who were discovered, and they eventually went on to play for the national teams.
Yeah, true.
So we are only looking at players who got the chance. Some of them that got the chance, about 50% of them got the chance to play in an academy, and then they traveled abroad, and then they are now representing Nigeria. How about players that never had the chance to play in an academy, but knows exactly how to do this thing, plays fantastic football, but has never gotten an opportunity? They are there. Go to Housing football pitch, the former Housing football pitch. Go to Wesley College. Go to a lot of places where football is being played. Go to Olubadan Township Stadium right beside us. You see talented footballers doing it week in, week out. How do we discover them? Do we even have scouts going around to see the next set of superstars? I don't think so. I think there was a time the Argentine national team, aside from what they have in the technical crew, they have some people, not just the coach, who goes out to different leagues. They just sit down and watch the Argentine players that play. And then that's where this guy is a player for the future. So when they are scouting players for the under-17, under-19s, under-20s, they already know where to look to. But it's not about Nigeria that when the coach has been given the job to work as the under-17 coach, he will start afresh. And then bring about 1,000 players into camp. And then they will be screening them. In that purpose, there is no way you can know which player is talented. What if that was that person's off day?
Off day, true.
So you are sending the superstar home because someone, had an opportunity to score a tap-in goal, and then he's the striker that plays for Nigeria at the under-17 level. See, there are so many challenges we are facing that we will still face. Until things are rephrased and readdressed and readjusted, we can never get it right.
I think, every time on the show, we talk about things like this, and we hope for the very best, for sport in Nigeria. Because yesterday we talked about Aruna Kodri, last week we talked about a favor of Philly, we talked about the Tokyo game, it's back and forth. And I think if we go back again to say we need to structure things properly in Nigerian sport. Moving away from that, let's take more stories. But Samson has said, there's no hope for the Super Eagles for qualifications for next year's World Cup. So, if you are hoping that the Radio Paparazzi and maybe Samson Balogun will be in USA, I think the hope is lost at this point in time. Because honestly speaking, Samson, I was hoping that maybe we're going to be in USA.
Yeah, there was a
covering. I mean, both of us covering, and making sure that.
Well, unfortunately, they have shown exactly.
So I'm sure maybe we'll be in Morocco.
Maybe Morocco.
All right, so let's take more stories making the round this morning in the world of sport. Oyo State Executive Council has approved the sum of 110 million for the camping and hosting of Nigeria under-20 women's national football team, the Falconet, ahead of the 2026 FIFA under-20 Women's World Cup qualifying fixtures against Rwanda. The financial approval, which was part of the key resolution taken at the council's meeting held on Tuesday, is aimed at ensuring seamless logistics and adequate preparations for the return leg of the second round qualifier, scheduled to take place at the Lakon Salami Stadium, Ibadan, on Saturday, September 27. The first leg of the encounter will be held in Kigali, Rwanda, on Sunday, 21st of September. As part of the early preparation, the Falconet head coach Musa Diku has earlier, said that the players invited, the 35 players in camp, as team begins its journey towards securing a spot on the global tournament. The 2026 FIFA Under-20 World Cup will take place in Poland, following the 2024 edition in Colombia, where 24 teams participated for the first time. In that tournament, the Falconet opened with a victory over South Korea, lost 3-1 to Germany, and bounced back with a 4-0 victory over Venezuela before narrowly exiting the tournament in the round of 16 with a 2-1 loss to Japan. The Oyo State government financial backing highlights the state's commitment to sport development and national representation on the global stage. Something there you have it. Oyo State Executive Council approved 110 million, supporting the Falcons ahead of the qualifiers against Rwanda right here at the Lakon Salami Stadium.
Well, I think it's a good news anyway. that a certain amount of money has been earmarked to host them.
Yeah, I'm praying. I'm praying we don't come back to the middleman's job again.
You don't preempt me. You see, it's not about allocation.
Yeah, come on.
I do say this a lot of times. It's not about how much has been allocated. It's about implementation. What if 100 million was allocated and then someone somewhere says 80 million is for the boys and then 20 million is for the actual job itself?
Job itself, yeah.
And it is going to happen.
Yeah, true.
That's not rocket science. It will happen. It will happen.
You said I should not preempt you.
See, the truth is, until an average Nigerian sees corruption as a potential killer of his own ability, you will not move forward. There is nothing you will do that you will succeed. You will only continue to run in circles. Now, corruption has eaten deep into every fabric Nigeria is made of. If we are talking about sport, that is, where corruption is, mostly. People talk a lot about politics. How about sport? Look into sports. You realize the fact that federal government has allocated so amount of money to run sports in the country for this year. And then someone somewhere takes the money, siphons the money, keeps it somewhere, and then it is time for the Super Eagles to travel to Gabon to play a friendly, and then there is no jet, there is no fuel. Oh, where will the players sleep? And these things have been provided for because there is a budget for the year. We already know the Super Eagles will play so number of matches for the year.
Yeah, we know that there is a budget. Yes, we know that the athletes will go to Tokyo for competition.
It's not like things just spring up. Yeah. There are adequate preparations for this thing. Every team has an itinerary for the year, unless in some cases where friendly matches are announced just to keep the players in shape, and even these ones are provided for in the miscellaneous arrangement. So if we have all this and the government has said, oh, this is the amount of money we are giving you for this year, you know that this, have you ever seen that, has it ever happened that there's a budget given to a particular, maybe Athletic Federation of Nigeria, and then after the year they say, oh, after spending for so amount of money for the year, we have 2 million left, it has been returned to the federal government, and then we are waiting for the next year's budget. No, the money is never enough. It has never been enough. And the money most times finishes even before 6 months. So what happens? Who takes the money? Someone eats the money, and that's where corruption started. So if this is how we want to, continue, we'll continue to show now failure. We'll continue to see bad results because most of these players are not well taken care of. Go and ask questions. Most of these players have been bullied to silence. Some of them, the match allowance for the last 2 years they have not received. And nobody has said anything. They are still calling Kochi. This is what happens. Someone probably kept their money in an account as fixed deposits, continued for the last 5 years to get interest, and then when someone talks and then there's boom, there's brouhaha everywhere, and then the money is out.
Yeah, all of a sudden, and just eating up the interest.
I mean, come on. So it's a challenge. It's everywhere, actually, but why not sanitize the sporting sector? Because until that is done, the only thing we will see as success will just be a flash in the pan. Maybe once in a while, maybe the Super Falcons will go and win, their usual trophy. They know how to win that one. Yeah. Even if they don't train, they will win that one. So when they play at the World Cup, Germany beats them 8-0 and they come back home.
We say it's
because that's the arrangement. See, if they succeed, some people will not see money. Yorubas call some people Arijemadaru. It is when things are bad that they make their money.
Are you serious?
Because how will you sack a coach? You cannot sack a coach when he's getting results now. So when you sack a coach and bring in a new coach, you already have a bargain with the new coach. Or your sign-on fee is so amount of money. You get so, I get so. If you are not interested, walk away. We have seen coaches who were given the job of the Super Eagles and they turned it down. With this condition, I cannot work with you. And they walked away. Those are the coaches who have,
integrity.
So if you don't have if you see anybody that takes the Super Eagles job today, go and check their integrity. Do an integrity test for that person. He is corrupt. We have seen situations where it's leaked, I think about 3, 4, 5 years ago, that a certain coach at the age grade level takes also amount of money from players before they even make it into the team.
Yeah, true.
So that means that team is not based on merit. So when they travel and then they get knocked out in the group phase, he doesn't care. he has made some money. So who cares?
And there was a
so they
time,
toy with Nigerians, the passion of Nigerians, and then walk away with it.
Honestly speaking, and there was a certain time, I think last 2 months where we had the issue of John Obi Mikel coming out to say, he paid some certain amount of money for the players at the Olympics. But come on, I think it's best that we, stop act like this for the betterment of sports.
So are you saying that money that was never returned to John Obi Mikel was not awarded to someone? It's not possible. The federal government does not expect you to spend your own money, but that money gets to someone, and that person says, look, let's just spend this money and then walk away with it. Nobody will say anything now. Even if they talk, let's just keep it in account. When anybody talks, we'll return it. And if nobody talks about it, then it has gone. It has gone. Right. So how does this... Are we even tracing these monies as they are being moved from the federal allocation account, which was given to the NFF, down to different accounts? Are they being traced? Is EFCC even looking to the sporting sector? I understand that there is a modus operandi that FIFA says, the government cannot interfere with sports. But once that is happening, if you know that there's corruption there, you can easily investigate where the corruption is coming from. Kick them out, boot them out. Some people have been in that mystery for the last 25 years. And they are still there. When you see their tummy, you ask yourself question. This is the chairman of athletics in Nigeria. Can he play table tennis? No. Can he even play Ludo? No. But someone somewhere says, this is your own slot because you worked for me during the election. So go and be the chairman. Take for example, Solomon Dalong was made the Minister of Youth and Sports in the country. Check Solomon Dalong's history. He was a lawyer. So why was Solomon Dalong made the minister? I don't understand. Umai Gari at the point where, let's not talk about,
honestly,
because it's a kind of war.
No, honestly, I'm sure if we start to, review those cans of worm at this point in time, it's going to be a major problem, and we are not going to leave, the studio this wonderful morning. But quick one, we'll be back to discuss this, and I'm sure, we'll have, top bodies that we can have sit down with us, ask us questions, what's the way forward for Nigerian sports right here in Nigeria. Moving away from that, let's look at results from the qualifying game. There you have it on the screen. Big games for you. Norway total demolition against Haaland doing the thing. You also have England, picking up the victory right there, and against Serbia. We have Portugal also against Hungary. Cristiano Ronaldo getting the goal again, and never aging Cristiano Ronaldo for you. Also, let's look at more stories. Still more results. There you have the African qualifiers right there in Nigeria. Cote d'Ivoire, and Benin also against Lesotho 4 goals to 0. Other results, still also being displayed. Egypt also, playing out a goal extra. Senegal picking up a victory, right there. Cape Verde, quick victory against Cameroon, a massive one for Cape Verde. Also, let's look at other stories that's still making around in the world of sport this wonderful morning. There you have Cristiano Ronaldo for you, Sam say, I think should be a course to be studied, in the university.
You see, I think he happens to be one of the most underrated and unspoken about players in history.
Do you think?
Because he deserves more than he's currently getting. Yeah. He's a kind of player that, has refused to leave the scene, and he's not messing himself up. We have been seeing results. And every time he's given an opportunity to represent his national team, he's always there. Yeah. Even if he cannot play, giving moral support to the boys and the likes. So it's really a fantastic one for Cristiano Ronaldo. At 40. And in fact, when you look at his statistics since when he turned 40, you might say, he played in the Saudi League. But majority of the players who play in the Saudi League today, most of them came from Europe, from America. Yeah. So it's not like you are playing Farmers League like people used to call it. So Saudi League is also, one of the toughest leagues. Yeah. You can imagine Cristiano Ronaldo playing in that cup final about 4 or 5 times, 3 or 4 times now.
And not winning.
And not winning any of it. So that tells you that the level of competition there, if in the past was really weak, has really improved drastically. And I want to give that to organizers. Michael Emenalo, got a job there. In fact, they had to import referees from England.
Yeah, from England to always manage the game.
So it's one thing for you to have the money. It's the other for you to be able to implement and then make good use of the money. I think they have been able to buy everything. They got the board players, the board referees, they bought everything they needed, and the league is doing fine right now. So they can do better, but it's doing fine. But Cristiano Ronaldo, for me, I think he's one of the players that came from another planet. Himself and Lionel Messi, they are not from here. And I tell you for a fact that for the first time in history, both of them are not on the list for whoever is going to be
the FIFA Ballon d'Or.
And that was the end of an era. And I can tell you for a fact that in the next 10, 20 years, I don't think we are going to see
another rivalry like that.
Because now you see, for this season, you see Erling Haaland doing exceptionally well. And then the next season is not doing too well. Someone, maybe Kylian Mbappe or Dembele. So we haven't really seen two or three standout players.
Now we're talking week about them.
There was a time we had the rivalry of Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard as regards who was the best midfielder in England. I don't think there has ever been anything like that in the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. So these are the challenges we will face in football. And people have to adapt to the fact that things do change, eras do end. And these ones have ended. It's a new era. Overpriced players everywhere, not parading themselves as superstars. But then when you look at the quality of play and what you used to see, you will say, oh no, this is not what we bargained for. But in the real sense of it, I think Cristiano Ronaldo deserves more accolade. He's doing exceptionally well, including now Messi. They deserve to be immortalized. I mean, forever when it comes to the game of football.
So quick word before I wrap up the show. Ange Postecoglou, let's have the picture of Ange Postecoglou, now named the manager of Nottingham Forest, and the next game is going to take charge of, it's going to be Arsenal. It's going to have to take charge of the game again. There you have it on the screen. Ange Postecoglou is going to take charge. The next game is going to be against the Gunners right there in the Premier League. And we're hoping that, like you said, in my second season, I'm sure this is the first season, but in my second season, I usually win trophy. But let's see how far, he can go with the job of Nottingham Forest. Moving away from that, the last story is where we have the ATP rankings right there, the wonderful one to see Carlos Alcaraz, take charge of that one. It's world number 1 at this point in time. Yannick Sinner had to drop to world number 2. We have Zverev, we have Alexander maintaining his position. We have Djokovic also still maintaining his position. We have Taylor Fritz dropping that one. He's on 5th. We have Shelton still maintaining. Jack Draper dropping. We have Demure also. We have Musetti topping that one, and Kashinov also on 10. A quick one. Let's look at the WTA. Andrea Sabalenka, we have Iga Swiatek, we have Coco Gauff, we have Anisimova, we have Andreev, we have Madison Keys, Jessica Pegula, we have Paulini, Zeng, and Rybakina taking their position in the WTA rankings. So let me inform you also that all this ATP and WTA will come together to play, a competition to look at the rankings going into the world of tennis. That's all we can think on the show this wonderful morning. Samson, one word?
Well, I just want to implore Nigerians to look away from the Super Eagles.
It's over.
It's over, actually. You can look to support other teams. Maybe you should support Shooting Stars, or maybe Rangers International Football Club of Aba, or probably Rivers United. These are teams at your domain, so every weekend go out to watch them, give them the support. The tickets are not even expensive. Most of the tickets are as low as 500. I mean, just go and have some fun.
Amazing.
Forget about the Super Eagles for now. There's nothing they will give to you. But the truth of it is, we are all Nigerians. When they want to play, we'll support them. But make sure you support local teams in your communities. That's the only way they can keep existing, and they will not keep disbanding teams in your communities.
I agree. Thank you. And I'm sure, most people will be waiting for the Premier League to come back quickly. And I'm sure we'll be back here to start discussing about the Premier League, the Spanish La Liga, the German Bundesliga, the Serie A, and other stories making around in the world of sport right here on Dominion Sport. That's all we can take this wonderful morning. Big thank you to my producer and also the crew. We're going to see you again tomorrow, same time, same station. I am Paul Abe and Samson Balogun here with me this morning. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.